Three, two, one, up.
Are you able to move?
Our goal throughout this entire exercise is to induce as much stress as we can on our first responders to simulate the real world environment. Operation Heat Shield is a collaboration of both local, state, and federal organizations coming together to make sure we can safeguard not just Broward County, but the entire Tri-County area.
Be advised, we got multiple people down.
The Regional Domestic Security Task Force, it's exactly that. It's a regional task force. It's comprised of multidisciplinary agencies within South Florida to include first responders, and collectively, it's a way to network information and to benchmark our program.
This training, this is what we do. If we do not train, we would not be prepared to actually continue to keep our community safe.
In terms of the Heat Shield, they're going to bring these teams together. They're going to be given a scenario. Within minutes, they got to develop a strategic plan. This is the most realistic training that we can possibly instill in our region and to test our overall capability.
Operation Heat Shield is intentionally done in the summertime because as you get hot, it just makes everything harder. So we intentionally create it in that environment. We want it to last a long time. We want that fatigue factor of going from scenario to scenario to scenario because that's what's going to test your abilities.
Bad guys, let's go, action.
Men with rifles that are shooting at people in Terminal 19 against Terminal 19.
This was a terrorist event by an organization that we're calling ROCKS. It's a domestic terrorist group that is the kickoff piece for a multitude of terror events that are happening around Broward County.
What you got?
My leg hurts.
See if we can get up. Come on.
They established a lot of casualties right in the front there. Simulation, a lot of gunshot victims out in front of a cruise terminal where people that were coming back from a cruise. From there, then they went inside the building, detonated a couple of IEDs, and then which stimulated the road patrol response.
They're going to hear all type of things that they would perhaps hear in the real world. Simulated gunfire, bomb explosions. They will witness injured personnel with simulated injuries and test their tactical medical skills. Collectively, we've put everything into this training environment that will potentially take place in the real world.
Okay, you cover down and I got the door. If there's active gunfire, their training is to immediately mitigate that, stop the killing. Attack the people that are attacking others. Take out the threat.
I can't walk.
Once that's accomplished, then they switch gears because then they focus on the victims. Because if I can't focus on the victims first because if there's still active killing going on, the victims are just accumulating. So we got to stop the killing first.
The Broward Sheriff's Office is introducing the Family Reunification Center into the Operation Heat Shield. This is the first time it's been done. We're simulating a shooting at one of the terminals, the cruise terminals, where there's a lot of people waiting to board the ship to take on their cruise. A lot of chaos, a lot of confusion. People are going to be shot. There's going to be people that are displaced.
Yeah, can you help? We're going to come this way. Okay, we're going to come right here.
I need to find my husband. I haven't been able to reach him at all.
They're going to be dealing with people, and we're simulating people that are going to be going through the worst time of their life, and the detectives and the team is going to be seeing that, and they're going to have to adapt to that and basically provide a higher level of service for those people. And they're going to have to rationalize inside, how are they going to deal with this in the event this happens in real life?
You witness anything with your eyes? Did you hear anything as far as the incident?
You're going to have people that have blood on them. You're going to have people that picked up evidence. They're going to have their cell phones. They recorded video. They may know the suspects. They may have seen some critical evidence that we have to now go through and basically triage to determine what we're dealing with. At the same time, we're trying to gather evidence. We have to figure out what their needs are, and we have to figure out who they're missing.
When I came in accepting command of the organization back in 2019, we were still recovering from what we learned at the MSD tragedy. And family reunification was something that we had fallen short in. We learned from those mistakes and how important it is to be able to engage with the community, talk to the family members, give them factual information, guide them in the right way. Putting all this together as it would play out in the real world is absolutely important.
This is the worst thing that
Once we identify somebody that passed away from the event, we are going to look for the significant other in the group. Once we identify them, then we're going to take them with a detective, with the victim's advocate, with other counselors that we have available. We're going to bring them to a quiet area and with no one else around, and we are going to do a next of kin notification.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just the fact that we are going in depth with this process and that we're learning from our mistakes, even at this level, it should be reassuring for the community that we're on it.
Delta 15, we have a loud explosion, possible biological or radiological device. Notify the bomb squad. The area is not secure. I repeat, the area is not secure yet.
The terrorists went into an area and they started shooting subjects. As they entered the area, they left a device, a bomb, dirty bomb, behind so to affect the victims and the police and firefighters that would have responded to that scene.
We're going to need treatment for possible exposure to the radiological device.
We had hazmat teams from Palm Beach, Sunrise, Hollywood, and BSO working together in this drill.
In the case of a dirty bomb, how do we respond to that into this scenario? Because that does change the response. How do you treat the victims? It changes that dynamic, so we have to test for that.
We are very pleased to be part of Operation Heat Shield, and right now you are in the field hospital. Is that can be deployed anywhere and stood up in a very small amount of time. And in emergency medicine, minutes, if not seconds, matter in saving patient lives.
So setting up like the mobile field hospital. In the past, we would train a lot of rescue trucks and bringing the problem to the local hospitals. Setting up the mobile field hospital changes that dynamic for us. So that's a big improvement.
It takes a community to solve these kinds of incidents. We all have to work together and really tie into each other's assets to make sure these things get done correctly.
We're now here at Memorial Regional Hospital. This is working on our plans for a mass casualty event. The scenario is that there is a domestic terrorist threat that is in our community. We really want to ensure maximum readiness. We have plans in place and we do training, but this is really allowing us to validate our plans and to build some muscle memory. We also understand that there is a lot of expectations from the community that we're going to be ready, that we're going to be available, and we want to make sure that we can do so.
We're doing something that has not been done for any Operation Heat Shields before, which is to do a cyber attack exercise, to test our capabilities to react to a cyber attack.
We came here today based off the encompassing threat of ransomware that's been hitting for many years businesses and different organizations.
We see it all the time where hospitals are getting hit, businesses are getting hit, government agencies are being hit. So for us to test our capabilities to do that here is very, very important.
All it takes is one employee in your entire organization to click on a malicious file like that, and that could infect your entire network. Through Heat Shield and the Regional Domestic Security Task Force in Region 7, they've seen the significance of these cyber attacks and ransomware attacks specifically. No one's gonna be perfect in these scenarios, but being able to learn from what we did wrong and improve it for the next attack that we'll most likely face at some point, that's really the most critical part of these scenarios and exercises.
During Heat Shield, the core tactic is demonstrated. We want to identify these gaps. They make a mistake. We want it to happen in this controlled training environment.
I want the community to see that we are prepared. We know there's constant improvement that has to get done. You have to look at what went right and what went wrong, because having some failures is part of the success, to identify your strengths and weaknesses regardless of your discipline.
When you put all these resources in one environment, create role players, multiple different hazards that may exist, it really gives us a test of what we are capable of doing, and then being able to go back, examine what we've done, look at the shortcomings, and then build upon them.